Hank Cisco show. Don't touch that remote. We got a great show here. It's going to be all about Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. And who do I have here as my guest? I have the mayor of Bridgeport. Let me tell you, I think, in my opinion, I've been around a little bit, quite a few corners, 93 years old. I think Bridgeport is the fastest growing town in Pennsylvania. Believe me, it has everything. It has the river. It has people that care. They got just about everything. And when you got good leadership, you know, the town will move forward. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my man from Bridgeport, the mayor. Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show.
Thank you for
having me. Tell him who you are. Tell him your name. You know what?
My name's Ted Pruskowski. I'm mayor of the borough of Bridgeport.
Tell him.
I'm Ted Pruskowski, mayor of the borough of Bridgeport.
Yeah. All right. You were born and raised there, right?
That's correct, Hank.
And so you're born and raised there?
I'm born and raised there, and I'm in the same house that I grew up in.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, my God.
Moved out for 10 years, moved back into the same house I grew up in.
Someone, an out-of-towner comes in and starts telling what to do, get out of here, you know. But, you know, well, tell me, growing up in Bridgeport, you know, it's so different. It had 3 Catholic churches, it had this, it had that, and everything. But it's little by little, it's forming. You got a big restaurant there and everything. Tell me a little bit about the growth.
Sure.
What's going on over at Bridgeport?
Well, we got a lot going on. We got some potential redevelopment going on. The former Our Lady of Mount Carmel church has been sold to St. John the Baptist. So that's new to people.
I had him on the show. Very nice.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but St. John the Baptist seems to be thriving. We have some redevelopment in the former Our Mother of Sorrows church, which got knocked down.
They knocked that down.
And they're going to make some condominiums and townhomes there. And of course, we have the riverfront, which hopefully will be redeveloped at some point in time.
Yeah. And I remember you have, the Feast of Mount Carmel.
The Mount Carmel Feast.
Tell me about that.
Mount Carmel Feast was a very iconic event that always happened in July. And unfortunately, with the closure of the parish, you know, the feast is no longer in production. So therefore,
they go to Sacred Heart now.
Right. So there was a joint venture, and St. Augustine's parishioners and Mother of Sorrows.
St. Augustine's still working?
No, they're all with Sacred Heart Parish now.
Oh, yeah.
So even though Sacred Heart Parish is over the other side of the street in Upper Merion, that's the joining parish now.
In other words, Coach Street, that's in Upper Merion.
Coach Street's Upper Merion.
My sister's in Upper Merion. I thought she was in Bridgeport.
That's right. We're on the same street. I go across the street, I'm in Upper Merion.
Right. My sister Margie and Stott Sozinski.
Great people. I know them real well.
Fire chief for a long time. There goes my papers. And so I remember when I was with the Norristown Police, how I would get along with the police department in Bridgeport, you know, always cooperative. Anytime we would call, they would need help, we would help, you know, and
good times.
It was so unique, and like Polish, Italian, with the feast, the Polish food, and then Mount Carmel, they got the everything, the spaghetti and the pizza frite.
Pizza frite?
Yeah. And fried dough.
Fried dough, everybody likes fried dough.
Right. I'm going to tell me something about you now. Where did you work? What kind of work did you do?
Well, my lifelong ambition is I'm in IT now for better part of 30 years.
What is that?
Information technology. I deal with the computers.
Madonna.
So
dinosaur.
I'm currently with the County of Montgomery. I'm their senior network administrator. I've been there for now 22 years.
You work for the county?
I work for the county, yes.
For computers?
For the computers.
In the courthouse?
I'm in One Montgomery Plaza, but yes.
We
service the
I didn't know that.
We connect all the buildings, make sure everything talks to one another. So that keeps me going.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So my background is in IT, and I've been in IT since 1984.
You do that, oh my God. No short circuits?
No short circuits. Can't have short circuits in IT.
Well, now tell me a little bit, what schools did you go to?
I started out grade school at Sacred Heart School in Swedesburg. Then I went to Bishop Kenrick High School for high school. Then I went to a number of colleges. I started out at community college.
Right.
Went to Temple.
I went there too, yeah.
Philadelphia College of Textiles and Sciences. And then lastly, I ended up at Retz Electronics in Broomall.
Broomall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did the gamut. Right. But we got through it.
Right. Now, with Bridgeport now, how many councilmen they got? How did the
So
down?
the way we're structured is we
districts?
have 7 council members, and Bridgeport's broken up into 3 wards, wards 1, 2, and 3. So we have 2 representatives from each ward, and then we have 1 at-large position.
2 in one ward?
2 representatives in each ward,
How did they handle that?
and then we have 1 at-large position.
How did 2 guys in one?
Well, 2 representatives from each ward.
Yeah, in other
So
words,
this way you have 2 people to go to, in case.
You got 2 guys to go at.
Well, 2 individuals. It could be male and female.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
We do have 2 female members on council.
Well, that's good. Now, who's your chief of police now? He's a temporary chief?
No, we have a permanent chief. It's Chief Robert Ruxton. He's been a lifelong chief in Horsham.
He's my man. Yeah.
And he's working out real well. He retired from Horsham, and he came to us back in 2015.
Yeah, I saw him the other day. A while back. He says, I'm over in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
I said, didn't know that.
Chief Ruxton's a great guy.
Because I used to, when I worked for the county, I was a county detective. I had to go to different police departments, pick up reports, and I would get to know, the chiefs and sergeants, whoever it was, but that's a good police department, and
Thank you, Hank.
Good. I think you got a good police department now. But I think Bridgeport is on the move, and I think I think Norristown and Bridgeport got some money about fixing the streets too, right?
We did
What's
get
the
some.
scoop on
We
that?
did get some grant money. We're going to be doing a resurface of the street project. We allocate so many streets every year to resurface them, and we're in, I think, year 4 of that now. So we're constantly updating the streets every
And
year.
about gas pipes. You got
PICO is going through a gas line replenishment project, and hopefully that'll be completed by the end of 2017 as well.
So they're replacing the gas pipes. I guess maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, maybe, there was a guy in front of my house. I live in 1700 block of Norristown, Powell Street. And this guy had this thing, and he was going around like, this guy, you see these guys on the beach looking for
The pipes.
So I said, what are you looking for? He says, I'm looking for gas leaks. All right, so he didn't find any of mine, but he told me down on Main Street, there's old gas pipes, and every once in a while, something blows up. It blew up down there near Main and Barbados Street,
You're right, Hank. There has been a number of fires, underground fires that have happened on Main
So
Street.
you ever involved with the fire departments? You have a good fire department out there?
Yes. We have 2 fire companies made up of 1 department in Bridgeport.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's the name of the fire company across from the police department?
That's Bridgeport number 1.
All right. Well, let me tell you something about that fire department. I don't know, the guy was a mayor, and I think his name was Brennan. Did you have a mayor then years ago by the name of Brennan? Well, I was in the detail to escort Kennedy, President Kennedy. He was campaigning in Norristown, so he was going to come up 4th Street, and he was like an hour late because there was some kind of storm, and the cars got stuck in the mud. So we got orders, move forward because they're late, they're running, don't stop or anything. So, and another thing, our order was no sirens. Kennedy didn't want any sirens, so, and they had maybe 3 or 4 cars up front, and then there was a bus with the press and everything, and I go, coming down the street, So I'm waiting there at the corner of 4th and Calvin, ready to go over the bridge. And the mayor, I think his name was Brennan, he pulls a fire truck out and stops it. He says, they ain't gonna get through my town without me shaking hands with them. Oh my God! And a Secret Service guy would come on, move, you know. And so everybody was shaking his hands, you know. And so finally I escorted him over to Bridgeport Bridge, left on Lafayette Street, around over on Cherry Street, around in front of the Valley Forge Hotel. Well, he had to go in to the Valley Forge Hotel and put his hand in ice. His hand was all swollen. Everybody was shaking hands, you know. And but
that was one of the iconic moments.
We're going to get through my town without you.
It was very historical to have President Kennedy come to town.
I'm escorting him, ready to go from Valley Forge, Main Street, turn left on DeKalb, going up DeKalb. We're going to go to Roosevelt Field, up to Finance. So I got by the convent there at St. Patrick's, and all the nuns were there. So I slowed it down, and then Secret Service, come on, move, motorcycle.
Times have changed.
But that was old Bridgeport.
That is. Like I said, it's a very historical moment to bring through town.
When I hear all of 3 Catholic churches closed down.
3.
And
it's a shame.
And the one, what's going on with the one is going to be the John the Baptist.
So Our Lady of Mount Carmel, they sold that church, and now it's become to a different denomination church, and it's known as St. John the Baptist.
He's Catholic, but he's not under the
He's not under the Archdiocese of Philadelphia regime, correct?
Yeah. Well, you say your prayers, you know, and everybody says a prayer.
Father Housley's a very nice individual, and I'm sure his congregation will grow and thrive.
You know, prayers are good. They come in handy. When I was boxing, you see, you bless yourself, you know, and the priest and the rabbi sitting ringside, and the rabbi said to the priest, says, Father, he says, is that going to help him anything? Blessing himself before the fight? He says, well, he ain't going to help him if he ain't in shape.
There you go.
So in other words, you got to get yourself in shape no matter what it is.
Looks like you did good for yourself, Rock.
Yeah, I got it, you know. So what? How about businesses? How does that work? They come to the council and give you blueprints and stuff. Or how does that work?
Businesses will approach the borough manager or someone on council or the mayor, and there's a permitting process, and we try to assess what type of business it is and try to help them fit in and thrive within the town.
Yes.
So right now we're trying to redevelop our Main Street corridor, which is 4th Street, and there's been some wonderful development along there with the former Friendship Grill, which is now Tap House 23.
Friendship Grill.
That's the new restaurant in town by the bowling alley.
Yeah.
So a lot of that development of those older homes have been knocked down.
Where do the owners come from? Where are they from around here?
The owner of the Tap House 23 has a lot of business in town. He owns Tube Methods. So yeah, he's been in Bridgeport 30.
Well, he invested a lot of money. Got parking lots,
a lot of money. He's got a wonderful place.
Paint the streets and everything, and then it's cooperation.
Well, we're trying to continue the development through the commercial district along town. We got the former banks. The Bridgeport National Bank is up for sale now.
Oh yeah,
we're trying to put something in there.
That beautiful building.
That's right. So it is a beautiful building, and I hope we get somebody in there soon.
What would be good?
Well, a couple of people who have restaurants have looked at it.
No kidding.
Yeah, so we're excited. We had the opportunity last year. We bid on the State Gaming Commission was going to come in. The State Gaming Commission. They had offices over in Conshohocken, and they were looking for a different facility.
I was thinking
close to public transportation. So we tried real hard to get that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
You know what you should do, Mayor? Just for the heck of it. Why don't you put a little thing for the people in Bridgeport? What do you think should go in there? And see what ideas that people would say.
Oh, I'm sure I'll get some good ideas.
Yeah.
We can't get somebody in there fast enough.
Yeah. I would do that. Maybe the Times Herald would do something like that. Mm-hmm. Stan Hussey's not there. You have to get somebody else. I guess Oscar Gamble.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a question from the lady with the blue dress up there in the balcony. Why take on the role of mayor? Why did you become mayor?
Well, I was on council for 8 years prior to becoming mayor, and there was a lot I felt I could do with the development of the town and helping the police department out and the fire department. So I'm very excited and proud that my last 8 years on mayor.
Well, one project, get the people of some input, because that corner is so important. You know, it's a beautiful
Where
building.
Borough Hall is.
Yeah, the borough.
Well, the bank is. Yes, that is a very important.
And then I got another project for you.
What's that, Hank?
All right, but wait a minute. Here's another question with the guy over there with the hat. You with that hat. Take that hat off. You're inside here. All right. Now you read it. Go ahead. See what that's question. You got it? You need your glasses?
Are you looking to develop residential commercial? Good question.
There you are. That's for the audience.
We're looking to develop both. Right now, like I said, our former, our Mother of Sorrows church has been knocked down, so that's going to be a residential parcel. There'll be 40-some units. Of course, they haven't done final land development approval on anything, so we don't have final plans. But we're continuing to develop a commercial district.
You got a lively audience here. Here's another one.
You got, Rock.
All right. What is the biggest challenger as the mayor?
That's a good question. So every day I spend a couple hours down at Borough Hall, and I entertain a lot of questions, whether they be emails or phone calls, and deal with complaints or concerns. And I try to help people and push them in the right area to make their quality of life better.
Right.
Living in Bridgeport.
Right. That audience is over there wide awake, no sleeping. Okay. All right, here's another one about the brewery.
The Country Brewery, yes. So the Country Brewery had moved, they added a facility at the former Jean's Wall Covering place across from Frosty Falls, and we're very happy to have them. The business has been thriving now for several months. It's been a wonderful place for a gathering, and we hope to have them in for many years.
All right, here's another question. You have all these questions here. Oh, I like this. You know, you were born and raised in Bridgeport.
That's correct.
You saw things develop. You saw things come in. You saw things go out. And the question is, this one gentleman there, what does Bridgeport look like in 10 years?
What does it look like in 10 years? Well, it'll look much different than it did when I grew up in the 70s and 60s. Lighting, we have a lot of different projects going on. We just put our banners along the lamp post along the main corridor.
And you light it up for Christmas.
We light it up for Christmas every year.
Right.
So they're all cosmetic details, but overall, we hope that we'll have many more businesses. The commercial district will be developed, and we'll have a lot more residential.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people in Bridgeport don't move away. Here's another question for the audience. Up there, one audience.
How does the older communities impact Bridgeport? Well, they do. A lot of the older communities, Norristown, Bridgeport, we have an aging infrastructure, but that's also an asset to something of a community like Bridgeport, because we have the infrastructure in place where a lot of the other municipalities don't. So therefore, we can rely on each other. We're close to one another.
Right.
We collaborate. As far as other impacts go, we have a lot of good that's coming into town with a lot of new businesses and a lot of new people bringing fresh ideas.
All right, born and raised in Bridgeport.
Born and raised.
How about Norristown, Bridgeport playing football on Thanksgiving?
That's a tough one. Norristown has our number, Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have our number. But back in the day,
I think
when Tony Gallino and all the guys from Bridgeport High were around,
they were the Deeroff brothers.
They had good teams.
They played for the high school in Bridgeport. But Bridgeport was rugged. They didn't. They had more population in school than Bridgeport.
When Bridgeport High was,
but they always
around, battle. We've always had a lot of good players that came out of Bridgeport.
I had to do traffic. Oh my God! After the game. All right. Oh, here's another one. This is one. That's what Bridgeport is great.
How is ethnic culture life in Bridgeport? That's a really good question. So, growing up, we used to have different sects of town here, different little sections.
Right.
There used to be Cabbage Town for the Irish immigrants.
Right. Yeah.
There was a Polish section. There was an Italian
one
section.
church was Irish. What's that? St. Augustine's.
St. Augustine's. Yes,
Right.
we had an
And
Irish
then
church.
The Polish.
Church was Sacred Heart.
Yeah. All right. Wait. Well, how about the one up on the hill with the onion?
That's St. Peter and Paul. That's Ukrainian Catholic. It's Byzantine Catholic.
Ukrainian?
Yes, Ukrainian church. And then we had Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which was the Italian church.
Yeah. Mount Carmel.
And then we had Mother of Sorrows, which was the Slovak church.
Oh, what?
So ethnicity was very big back in the day. Growing up in
Yeah,
Bridgeport.
that's great. I forgot. I know there was everybody. And what's the Northtown's 3 square miles? What's the Bridgeport?
0.66 square miles.
How much?
0.66.
Wow.
We got 3 traffic lights.
What?
We got 3 traffic lights.
Yeah. Here's one. Here's another one. This audience up there is wide awake. They're right. You see them up there, Rock?
You've been in IT for so long. What are the biggest benefits of the thread vanes? I can't make that out.
Let me see.
What's the last one? The what?
Vance.
What's the biggest
I don't know.
benefit of the...
You have been in there for so long. What are the biggest benefits of the advances?
Oh, yeah. Well, in IT, there's always advancements. IT today is old technology compared to what's going to happen in the near future. So it gets antiquated fast.
But your background with technology and everything, you know.
Sure.
Does that come in handy?
Absolutely, it does. I rely on my technological abilities every day, and I look forward to what's coming tomorrow.
You know, Bridgeport. You know, when I first got married, the Giacomos are a Bridgeport family, and I just go over there, and then my grandson, he went to police academy, and he graduated, so there was no openings. So it was a part-time opening for Bridgeport. So he worked part-time at Bridgeport. And I used to go over there sometimes, and he was on duty and eat a little pizza pie with, what's the name of the pizza place there?
Franzones.
Yeah, Franzones, you know. And that was good. He liked Bridgeport, you know. And I told him, I said, you know, make friends, make a new friend every day. You know, that's a policeman job. Me doing now. So an opportunity opened up in West Norton. He's a West Norton police officer now, Anthony Morano. So,
I know him well. I hired him.
Yeah.
I hired him as part-time officer.
Yeah. So, and now, how many, now you say you have 7 councilmen.
7 council members.
And then you have a borough manager.
We have a borough manager.
Is it the same as Northtown administrator?
Administrator.
Yeah.
We have a borough manager.
What's the difference?
It's basically the same thing. It's just
Title.
Class 1 boroughs have borough managers, whereas other forms of government have either administrators or whatever their title may be.
Now I'm going to hit you now. I'm going to hit the heartstrings here. Right?
You slay hard. Go ahead.
Here's one. There must be an athlete up there. How has coaching influenced your life? In other words, your resume here, you've coached baseball, football, everything.
Basketball. I've coached.
Oh my God.
I've coached it all.
You know, and tell me what
coaching.
Who you coached? Who'd you coach, and what experience you get out of that?
I've coached all the youth programs growing up, from wrestling to...
You were president of the program?
I used to be president of almost everything. Wrestling, little leagues, basketball. But getting back to your question, coaching has probably been the biggest influence in my life. It gave me an opportunity to mold the young children into what they are today, develop them, and discipline, instill discipline,
teamwork.
But it taught me a lot too. It taught me how to advance my life as a professional, as well as a parent. a husband, a father. So
Yeah, it helped. Yeah. Well, I think it's a good experience working with youth. And I spent time teaching boxing. One thing about boxing, I teach them. You do this here. If you don't do it right, you get instant punishment.
coaching is like my golf. I'm not very good at golf, and I enjoyed coaching. So that's how I filled my time.
Yeah, yeah. And well, what you're coaching? Who do you play against? What is it? In the teams in the local area?
Depending on what sport and what league you're in. For Little League, you played against the neighboring municipalities. Norristown, White Marsh, Conshohocken, East Norton, West Norton. We did it all. Wrestling was a little bit more regional. We used to go as far as
tough.
We used to go as far as Oxford and Boyertown and Salem. But it was more regional.
Further up you go, the tougher they are.
Yes, they are. Same thing with football, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But the Bridgeport, I remember they had some great football players. I know the Beeroff brothers, and there was another couple other guys.
You had Pruskowski from the Baltimore or Indianapolis Colts. He was the most recent pro.
And what was that? And Bridgeport, we only got 30 seconds. The coach from Alabama, Bridgeport adopted
Tony Cicchino.
Yeah.
Good man. Unfortunately, he passed at a young age.
Hey, the half hour is over.
Thank you, Rob. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, one thing. I got 30 seconds. Bishop Desmond. He got the war hero. He's a priest. His two brothers are priests. And I think Bridgeport should do some commemoration or some kind of something about on Facebook. There's this whole story about him being a sergeant. He had a machine gun, but he never killed anybody.
That's a great idea, Rob.
And I think
he was
you are the mayor, and I'm the ambassador. And then we'll cross the river, and we're going to do something for Bishop Desmond.
Hey, let's get it done.
All right. Thank you much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home. And it's been a pleasure meeting the mayor here. He's a good friend, and with the Patriotic Sons of America, too. So we bob and weave. And we're going to get the Sons of Italy. We're going to get the Catholic War vets. We're going to Veterans of Foreign War, and everybody to get together and do something for Bishop Desmond.
Thanks.
So until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, left hand high, stick and move, keep your trunks off the canvas, and may God bless each and every one of you. Adios, amigos.
Thanks for having me.
Here we go. Okay, Rock. La pizza.